Hey, Big Z2 tier list. We're just gonna do world by world. So our first world is ancient Egypt. You might see modern day night here. I didn't put it here yet since you can tell by Big Day Beach. I have actually not completed Big Day Beach yet, so that's kind of why. And maybe maybe what I think of these worlds might change, because I know like all these worlds kind of come back in modern day. So maybe like I'll find annoying plants that I didn't think were annoying in ancient Egypt annoying in there. But I'm gonna put this probably in a sort of high B, maybe a mid B. And if it was an A, very low A. The reason for this is because I don't know, ancient Egypt is probably one of the most plants versus zombies, like in the first one kind of feeling the worlds. I'm gonna look at my phone real quick. But it's not like there's not much going on. Like if I look at the almanac, the plants we got were we had some things like sunflower, which I know were from the tutorial, but we're definitely really they're in the ancient Egypt packs. They're pretty popular within the ancient Egypt packs, and so they're I think they're part of it. Also, they changed Cabot Pool from being in the ancient Egypt to being in the tutorial, which is very weird. The plants I still use are like repeater and like iceberg lettuce, all the other plants were kind of replaced. So it's like the levels are pretty simple. There's no like super annoying zombies. The only one that's annoying is a tomb raiser zombie, because he can just place random tombs. And also, I have some slots that aren't filled because they added a hard mode, so that kind of makes my almanac a bit weird. But to be honest, pretty solid world. Probably the closest to PZ1 in terms of like the level design and everything. But there isn't much going on, especially with the other world's themes and how they use them. So I kind of like think it would be used a bit better. But since it is the first world, I cut some slack. And I had a pretty fun time with it. So that's kind of it. See y'all later. So part 2 of the tier list. You might see them all at D. This is just because I kind of made a bunch of videos on this already. And then they just no sound. Which is like, bruh. But we're on part C's. I think this is a little bit better than ancient Egypt, because just kind of like how ancient Egypt was the tutorial just how to play the game normally, so it's kind of easy. Part C is kind of a tutorial for all the stupid stuff like the mold coolies. Don't plant on those. Don't trip over the little flowers. Don't let this many plants die and stuff like that. So it kind of acts as a bit of a tutorial for that as well. This little more elaborate stuff. And I think it's a little bit better than ancient Egypt. The endless mode is pretty fun to play too. I think it's the only endless mode I've played. Boss fight, kind of a basic, kind of basic. The plants, I really like Snapdragon, and the zombies I kind of like too. Like ancient Egypt, I wasn't really a big fan of the zombies, and the plants were pretty basic. So I do like to sort of step up, especially since Coconut Cannon's really good as well. But honestly, a solid world. Not too much to say about it, but I still think it's pretty fun. Alright, PVZ tier list part 3. Wild West. I don't really like this one. The plants I've never really used. The zombies were not really that fun, I don't really like the piano one. The boss was just kind of another spider boss. And there wasn't really that much sort of unique things with it. All I thought of the railroads was, hey, I have less place to put my plants. The world's not too, it's just kind of like below average. Like there's nothing I use, nothing that really stands out about it. Like at least ancient Egypt was the tutorial, and like player C's that had some plants I used. And I used some, I use like repeaters still, but Wild West, it's just below average for me. There's nothing I like about it. Like it's just kind of pretty mid. Alright, another world. We're probably just gonna do all of it from Big Wave Beach. I have not completed Modern Day, and I just completed Big Wave Beach, so you know what? We're gonna rank that one. So I ranked this one a A tier. Actually, probably an S tier. I don't think any world's really gonna be an S tier, to be honest. But this world I had a lot of fun with. Yes, I know it was probably the hardest I've played so far, especially being 5 chilies. Oh, and with the boss fight, I literally went into the Zen Garden and got every single one of the Big Wave Beach plants just maxed out with like, not maxed out, but like the plant food. So it was pretty funny. But some levels like 28 and like 25 were pretty hard. And honestly, sometimes I had to rely on the lawnmowers, but at some points you just couldn't. Like the one with the like I think level 28 or something like that. Uh, the bananas were pretty cool. Now I just completed this world, so unlike other worlds, I'm like, oh, I still use this plant. I can't really say that for this one. The zombies, except the fishermen, where I thought were all pretty fun inclusions. So luckily, since the fisherman can only be on water, he will not reappear in modern day. At least I hope not. But honestly, I think this is a really fun world. The plants are pretty good as well. So I had a pretty good time. It was really fun. Alright, I'm gonna go back in order. I just wanted to do Big Wave Beach as like the part 3. I mean part 4 just because I just completed it. Lost City, it's below average, to be honest. Not as below average as Wild West, but there wasn't really too much to remember about it. So yeah, it was literally just below average. The gimmick where, oh, you have these sun tiles which make it where you can get more sun, and so many times you would just kind of like it was cool. And also, you can't use the gold leaf in any other level except Lost City as well. Yeah, something like Far Future's tile turnip, you could use in any world. And the coolest thing about that, which I'll go into more when I actually talk about Far Future, but it was just below average. There's nothing cool, unique. The boss fight was alright. Like, it was the first boss fight I played that didn't have the spider, but it was just okay. The most zombies are like sort of either a easier or harder version of zombies that are kind of already were there. So honestly, just kind of below average. Didn't really think too much about it. Another tier list. Yeah, I think we're just gonna bang out all these. Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Prospect Caves, another A tier. And maybe by high B, low A tier. We'll do low A. I love this because I kind of like the whole stealth thing. The zombies were really cool looking. The whole thing where you had the tiles that go down, which are basically like free garlics. The dodo bird, it was pretty cool. And the boss fight, it was probably my favorite part about it. Honestly, just a really good level. The plants I don't use as much, but I think honestly, Frostbite Caves is one of my favorites, along with Big Wave Beach, and I'll talk about the other one when I get to it. Honestly, such a good level. I think it's a little underrated. It was the first, one of the first levels to actually add more than just 30, 25 levels as well. So honestly, really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. TVZ tier list. So we have Far Future, B, High D. This actually used to be one of my favorite worlds, but it's kind of dipped down. Actually, low A. I'll do high B for now, like a B plus. My favorite part about this are probably the zombies and tile turnip. One thing I didn't like about Lost City is they had a gold leaf, but you couldn't use the gold leaf in another world. Far Future has a tile turnip to the point where you can have Far Future's gimmick of having the power tiles in any world you want, including worlds like Big Wave Beach. So there are some restrictions where you can't place on lily pads and stuff. But it's always my favorite. Some of my favorite designs. They even had like the disco zombie coming back. You had the one that was like football and it pushed. You had the cone one, which is just kind of a more harder one. You had the guys that float. So honestly, it was one of my favorites. I just love the zombies, but the plants and the world kind of bring it down, but the zombies bring it up. I think the zombies are just carry the world for me. Another PvZ tier list. Woo woo. We're gonna do a bunch of these. Dark Ages, dude. I don't know. I think being only 20 levels kind of knock it down. I think the ones that have a lot of levels kind of are some of my favorites because I get to play the world a little more. OB. I liked actually Dark Ages a lot. So the whole thing where it's now nighttime yet again, even though Neo makes a tourist place at nighttime, and this one sun doesn't drop. It brings back almost all the shroom plants except like Doom Shroom. I feel like Doom Shroom would make the game a bit too OP. That's kind of why he's part of a premium plant. But honestly, this is pretty solid world. You have kind of the jester zombie, you have the knight zombie or the wizard. The wizard is a less annoying octo dad. So kind of, it's a really good level, and it's just kind of really good, and there's nothing too much to say about it, you know. All right, another PvZ tier list. Jurassic March. I really did not like this level, but the plants really bring it up. So it's a very low B. The reason for this is just because I think the dinosaurs pushing the zombies forward, and you cannot kill the dinosaurs. Like, the fishing zombies are annoying, but you could kill the fishing zombies. You could not kill the dinosaurs. And I think that is just the most annoying part of the whole thing. Why can't I not kill the dinosaurs? They're so annoying. You can use Refresh Room, but you have to wait 30 seconds each time, and it costs 150 sun, and the zombies don't really, the dinosaurs don't really help them much. It was probably the worst level I have played, but I think the plants being just better versions of the regular plants, such as like primal walnut, primal sunflower, all the primal plants except primal pea shooters, which is a big step up from the originals. I think primal pea shooters just kind of make me just want to choose repeater anyways. Honestly, the zombies were pretty okay as well, so I mean, it was a cool level, but it was just because the dinosaurs just really lessened it for me. So yeah. Alright, this is going to be the last one for a while. I have not completed Modern Day, so we're going to have to wait for Modern Day. But this is our PvZ tier list. Of Neo Mixtape Tour, again, another A tier. I don't know. I think it's better than Big White Beach. So the whole thing with this one is you have a bunch of zombies, and you have the music that changes. So if it's rap, the backup dancers will start pushing zombies forward. If it's punk, the punk zombies will come out and push your plants backwards. If it's, I think, like, kind of smooth, I don't know, like in jazz or something, like zombie roller skates. Well, kind of. But anyway, the song changes, one of the zombies sort of unique themes come out, and it's really cool. Probably my favorite part of the whole thing is just, and the design is really cool. The boss fight I had a lot of fun with, and honestly, the whole level was just really fun. I wish they added more levels. I would just have a field day with this one. Honestly, just super good. Alright, last tier list we're gonna do for the worlds. So I finally beat Modern Day, and I'm gonna give it a pretty low A, high B. And you're like, what? So this world, first of all, it felt way easier than other worlds I've played, which is kind of weird, because this is meant to be like as hard as Big Wave Beach with the 5 chilies, and especially since it's past Big Wave Beach, you would think it'd be harder than Big Wave Beach, right? Because so what is Modern Day's whole gimmick? Well, you have zombies from all the areas, so, and you see them all too. But I felt like, and I felt like they just didn't use them as much. Also, the shadow plants I didn't use that much at all. The probably hardest zombies were probably the like football and the grandma zombie or newspaper, whatever. And also, I feel like this world could have brought back a lot more zombies from the original game, and even do kind of what Dark Ages did, where it brought back a bunch of old plants. Like Dark Ages brought back most of the shroom plants. I think Modern Day could have done that. So their plants, they were trying to be like shadow plants, and they weren't really that good if they're powered up or not. So that kind of sucked. And the levels were kind of okay. Like, maybe because I already knew how to play the game, I kind of breezed through the levels. I got stuck on 2. One of them being level 30, which was don't let the zombies get over the flowers, and level 33. And something cool is the last 3 levels are boss fights that are actually random. So they're the boss fights from all these worlds, and so you have one where it's like Far Future with the Dark Ages plants, or another one where it's Big Wave Beach with the Frostbite Caves plants. So they kind of randomize it that way. And I replayed level 33, and it actually gave me Far Future instead of Big Wave Beach. So I could probably replay all 3 of those boss fights and get like different bosses each time. But honestly, the only reason why I struggled on level 33 is because that was Big Wave Beach's boss fight, which I think is the second hardest boss fight in the entire game. So it is just a kind of a rehash. Once you beat the game, you get a taco with a waffle in it, and honestly, that level was a little underwhelming, but it was still really cool with the level design, and I still liked the level. It was just felt a little underwhelming for me.